Hi there. In this video, we will go over AWS Compute Services Overview. For the Solutions Architect Associate exam, it is very important that you have knowledge of the various AWS compute services on offer. You need to be able to understand what each compute services does and what the benefit it provides to the cloud infrastructure of any company. There are various compute services on offer, and we will go through them all in detail in later video sessions. After going through and understanding what these various compute services do, it is absolutely critical that you're able to utilize the knowledge of this various compute services in answering questions related to how you can design resilient architectures. For example, how to determine a solution design based on access patterns, how to determine a scaling strategy, how to select an appropriate compute and storage device based on requirements. You need to be able to know how to design high-performing architectures, such as selecting the appropriate instance based on compute, storage, and networking requirements. You need to identify services that scale to meet performance requirements. And of course, you need to have a good knowledge of how to design a cost-optimized architecture. Now, we will go through these concepts in further detail. We will start off first with having a high-level overview of what these various compute services are and what category do they fall under. It is important that you should be able to understand the high-level benefit that these compute services provide in order to be able to answer questions relating to specific domain-level knowledge. Starting off first with Elastic Compute Cloud. What is it? It is defined as a secure and resizable compute capacity, also known as virtual servers in the cloud. EC2 autoscaling helps to automatically add or remove compute capacity to meet changes in demand. EC2 Spot helps you to run fault-tolerant workloads for up to 90% off on-demand prices. So the benefit of EC2 Spot is more from a cost efficiency perspective. AWS Batch helps to fully manage batch processing at any scale. These four services come under the category of instances/virtual machines. Then we have AWS Elastic Beanstalk, which is an easy-to-use service for deploying and scaling web applications and services. Elastic Load Balancing, which helps to automatically distribute incoming application traffic across multiple EC2 instances. And we have, first of all, these two fall under the category of capacity management because they help you to either launch your services fast or they help you to manage the incoming application traffic with better efficiency. Then we have these various services which fall under the category of containers, and we'll go into further detail in further videos. We have Lambda, which helps you to run code without thinking about servers and to pay only for the compute time you consume. Knowledge of Lambda will be very useful for designing high-performing architectures, which is part of domain 2, how to design high-performing architectures. Then we have these cost management services. We have AWS Savings Plan and AWS Compute Optimizer, which helps you to design more cost-efficient architectures with the various compute services on offer. Now, to progress in the video, we will go over one of the most commonly used compute services on offer, which is Elastic Compute Cloud. So let's now start with an understanding of what is EC2. EC2 is a short form for Elastic Compute Cloud. In the most simplest definition, an EC2 instance is a virtual machine in the cloud. Now, what is a virtual machine? In order to understand what is a virtual machine, we need to revisit our concept of what is a physical machine and what it does. The physical machine, or the server hardware, it is also known as the physical host. It is comprised of the hardware layer, where we have the physical CPU, RAM, and storage. Then on top of this, we have the operating system. The operating system helps to control the hardware, which then helps us to basically build applications on top of the hardware using the operating system. Now, a physical host has different capabilities or capacities in terms of the processor, memory, and storage. Single application may not be utilizing the entire capabilities of the hardware efficiently. So in order to ensure that the capabilities of the physical host are utilized efficiently, we have what is called a hypervisor and virtualization software. The hypervisor helps us to partition and divide up the capabilities of the hardware of the physical host in order to create multiple virtual machines. And these virtual machines basically are using virtual CPU, virtual RAM, and virtual storage, which, when you add up the CPU and RAM and the virtual CPU, RAM, and storage, it will total up to the CPU, RAM, and storage of the physical machine. So in this way, using the hypervisor and using virtualization software, we are able to partition the physical host and create many virtual machines. And these multiple virtual machines are what are known as in AWS as EC2 instances. The beauty of virtualization is that even though the physical host may be having a different operating system, using virtualization software, we can give the virtual machine a different operating system which is distinct and different from the host operating system. So if the physical host has a Windows operating system, we can create virtual machines with a Linux or a Ubuntu or a Mac operating system. So now that we understand that a EC2 instance is a virtual machine, let's understand a bit more how AWS actually provides us EC2 instances. So AWS has many physical servers held on racks across its various availability zones. Now these various physical servers, they come with different hardware and which can be used for different requirements such as high computing, high memory, large storage, or simply general purpose. Now what AWS does is, using these various multiple physical servers with different kind of hardwares, using hypervisor and virtualization software, it is able to create many instances which suit our requirement. We can create instances with different operating systems, or we can use instances with different hardware depending upon our application requirements. So this is how AWS provides us EC2 instances, and we can have either just one instance running or multiple instances running. So what are the benefits of EC2? First of all, it is reliable. Domain 1 advises us to design resilient architectures. EC2 instances are highly reliable because we can quickly add instances to meet demand surges. So we will never face a situation where EC2 instance is not available to meet our application requirements. There will always be enough EC2 instances across various availability zones. Secondly, the benefit of EC2 is flexibility. Domain 2 advises us to design high-performing architectures. In order to design high-performing architectures, we need various options for compute, memory, storage, or general purpose. EC2 allows us to configure our memory, CPU, and boot partition size, which is optimal for the operating system and the application. Third benefit is security. Now, Domain 3 advises us to design secure applications and architectures. Elastic Compute Cloud, an EC2 instance, is placed in a virtual private cloud and with EC2 firewalls known as a security group. The Amazon VPC ensures there's robust networking and security. Finally, one of the important benefits of EC2 is the cost efficiency. Domain 4 advises us to design cost-optimized architectures, and Elastic Compute Cloud allows us to pay for only what we use. Now, another important concept that we need to understand is, how do we deploy an EC2 instance? Understanding this overview will be useful as we go through various additional videos to understand these concepts in detail. Now, the very first step to deploy an EC2 instance is to select the Amazon machine image. What is the Amazon machine image? It is a pre-configured template for instance, which includes the operating system and the additional software. So just to recap, if you recall what a physical host is, and we have a hardware operating system layer and application layer. So selecting an Amazon machine image is almost similar like selecting the operating system and a couple of other applications which are necessary to boot our instance. Second step is we need to configure our networking and security. So we need to decide which VPC we place our EC2 instance in, and also what security group we place the EC2 instance in. And these concepts we will go through in additional videos. Then we need to choose the instance type. We need to decide on the various configurations of the CPU, memory, storage, and networking capacity of our instances. So choosing the instance type is basically deciding upon what kind of hardware we want for our particular instance. Step 4 is we need to choose our availability zone. The availability zone is basically in an AWS region, and depending upon the proximity to our users and the requirements of high availability and fault tolerance, we can have our EC2 instance either running in just one availability zones or multiple availability zones in one region, or even in multiple regions. Step 5, we need to attach storage, elastic block storage. EBS is basically persistent storage volumes for your data, also known as EBS volumes. And finally, once all these steps are completed, we go through step 6 and start as many or as few EC2 instances that we need. And this allows us to simply pay as you go. So this completes our overview of compute services and our overview of what is EC2. In our next video, we will go into a bit more detail of what are EC2 instance types. So step 3 of how to deploy an EC2 instance. So we will cover that in the next video. So hope you like this video. Please hit like and subscribe and keep watching our videos. Thank you.